Norte Soccer. This is Favian Renkel here, your host, and I'm here with a really special guest. What's up? It's Tony Alfaro from DC United or Seattle Sounders or even Chivas. How you doing, man?
I'm good, good. Thank you for having me on your show. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and I really do actually have to thank you because this is your second time coming on the show. The first time, unfortunately, I was unprofessional and didn't go too well. So this is the second time, and second time's a charm, right? So let's see if it works out. Tony, how's your season been so far? I know we talked a little bit before, but how you been?
It's good. I'm good. Enjoying the city every day. I think I'm really enjoying being a part of the team, and um, I think we've been having a really good season so far, and we're coming to the final stretch of games, and we're pushing to make it to playoffs.
Yeah, and I mean, DC United is actually in a great position to make a playoff spot by the end of the year, so it must be really exciting. I know you played for a Seattle Sounders team that made the playoffs almost every year, but how does it feel like being in this DC United squad, such a pivotal role in this team? How do you feel? I mean, this is probably a great feeling for you.
Yeah, I think, like I said, for me, I feel like I've had a good season so far, and honestly, I'm just blessed to be given this opportunity to be here. And obviously, it feels really good, playing games and helping out the team in any way that I can. And, to be in this position where we're um, going to be pushing for playoffs and, competing, I think it's really important for me to have such an important role
Mm.
um, on the team. And, I'm just happy and I'm enjoying it every single day.
Yeah, definitely. It's such an awesome feeling. I mean, when you do all that hard work every single day in and day out, and now it's finally you're reaping the benefits of it, and especially on a playoff team, right? So it's something it's really exciting and definitely good. Yeah, good job, Tony. I mean, you made it, right? So definitely, it's something to be really proud of, and I bet your family's really proud of that too.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Everybody's,
Yeah.
really happy because I think, it's for me, it's a collective effort, not just with my team, but with the people surrounding me, my family, my friends. So that's also huge for me.
And I remember last time we talked a little bit about your goal because every goal you kind of you dedicated to someone in your life or something that's personal to you. You had a goal out in San Jose. I know San Jose is my team, and your family was out there. You told me last time, and walk me back through that. How did it feel when you scored that goal with your family watching?
It was everything to me. It was
Yeah.
a super exciting moment for me. I was really happy, and so were they. And I think it was very special because they were there in person. They were at the game, and we both got to um, celebrate it together. They were in the presence, so I mean, for me, it was just really special because I had always told them my first MLS goal was going to be dedicated to them, just because they've been with me since day one, and have always supported me and been through that process. So uh, it was a really special moment.
Awesome. That's a great feeling, and I know you switched jerseys or switched jerseys with someone that is having a great season this year. I know maybe some of you San Jose Earthquakes fans are listening to this. How was that? How was seeing trophies after all these years in MLS and kind of like a new team for you and a new team for him, right? So how did that feel? How did that conversation go?
Yeah, it's always good to see teammates that you've played with in the past, and I'm really happy for him. He's really, he's having a great season. He's scoring some great goals, and that's really exciting because obviously playing in Mexico and being at Chivas, it was a different story for both of us.
Yeah.
So now to see him really enjoying himself and doing what he does best, I think he should be happy and he should be really proud of how far he's come along in the league as well.
Yeah, and both coming from Chivas, would you talk to the younger Chivas player that was in your situation and tell him to come over to an MLS team? Would that be an advice that you would give today?
Absolutely. I think for me, a conversation that I've always had is players from anywhere. I think it's MLS is growing so much, and it's such an exciting league that I think a lot of people have to come and experience it for themselves.
Mm.
Um, I think it is a league where it develops a lot of younger players, but it's also a league where there's also a lot of experienced players, good players coming from all
Yeah.
around the world. So it makes the league more attractive.
No, definitely. And the MLS has grown a lot even in the last 5 years, right? So this league is growing rapidly. I mean, the results with the viewership are growing crazily at every year. So it's just this league it's only 26 years old, and it's a brand new league, and it's a beautiful league, and plays beautiful soccer here, like the beautiful soccer you guys play in DC. I know. How does it feel to be coached under Hernan Losada? How is that system? How are you getting accustomed to all of his antics and tactics?
It's great. I think he has a really unique way, like his style of play. Um, I think we've been one of the teams with the most consistent style in terms of our
Mm,
formation, our tactics, style, because I feel like, obviously this year we've played teams 2 to 3 times already, and we're going to continue
yeah,
to play them for the rest of the season. And I feel that a lot of teams have, switched up their formations at some point in the season, or their tactics of what they want to do and how they want to play. But ours has been really consistent. He has a formation where we play a 3-4-3 or a 5-3-2, whatever, however you want to see it in the back.
yeah,
Um, but I mean, I think for me, I've really adapted well. With the three center backs and being the center back to the left. Um, I'm really comfortable on the ball, and I like having the ball. And it gives me that
mm,
freedom to get up if I need to high press, to be aggressive, and it kind of suits my characteristics as a soccer player. So for me, I
mm.
really enjoy doing it, and I think the entire team does as well.
And would you say that your best skill set is kind of being on the ball, or is it something that you would like to improve on, or what would you say is your best kind of attribute?
Yeah, I think it's on the ball. I love
Mm,
having the ball at my feet. I love touching the ball.
yeah,
I've always felt super comfortable, and especially as a center back, that's really important. Passing and
definitely.
your range of passing, long balls, things like that. So yeah, I think that's one of my best attributes.
And that actually the attribute suits modern football perfectly, because I mean the modern day center back needs to be able to be on the ball and pass the ball well.
Mhm.
So definitely it's great that you would say that's your best attribute. What's something that you would like to improve on? I know every player has something that they work on day in and day out. What's something that you feel like you can improve on?
I think one thing I've noticed is I want to be able to almost read and analyze the game 2 plays, 2 steps ahead before anything happens. I think as a center back,
Mm,
it's really important to have that knowledge and that vision of the game.
yeah.
I think I'm pretty good at it, and I've improved a lot. But I still think that's one of the um, one point in my game that I can still improve a little bit more.
Okay. And yeah, I mean that's going to come with experience and time, right? And you are getting that first kind of team football day, week in, week out. So it's going to come. Tell me a little bit more about this DC United club. Um, how does it feel playing for a club with such legacy, such in the small, I mean, time frame of MLS? They are really one of the winners of this whole MLS league.
Mhm.
And how does it feel, putting on that crest every single day and getting an opportunity from one of these clubs?
It's an honor. I think I
Yeah,
never imagined playing for a club with such rich history. You know,
yeah,
Obviously, once you're here, you get to experience the ins and the outs of the club, and you work closely with the organization. So you take a lot of pride in what you're doing and who you're working with. But I think it's also
yeah,
important because you see the players that have come across the club. They had
yeah,
Rooney too long ago, but they've also had other important players in the past, and I think it's important to some extent, you kind of want to follow in those footsteps of
mm,
legacies that people are leaving, and being, like I said, being at a club where a lot of good players have been. So it's a really nice experience.
awesome. And when you came in, but when Wayne Rooney left, but was there something in the locker room that you still felt from that type of greatness, or was it something that all the other guys learned a little bit from him and maybe they passed it along to you? Was there anything that you kind of just picked up right away from playing at DC United?
I mean, when a player like that comes into your locker room, or a great player like that has been in that locker room, you kind of just,
Mm,
you're almost in a moment of like, wow, like you, like I said, you take great pride, and you
right,
should be, happy for yourself of what you've accomplished for already being in that locker room. Not a lot of people get to say they've been in a professional atmosphere or dressing room, so.
yeah,
I mean, in terms of learning from him, obviously I didn't know him as a person, but yeah, the stories that
right,
people pass along, and of him being a great person on and off the field, that's obviously things you get inspired by every day in football.
right. And you've played for a lot of big clubs. I mean, looking at your career, you played for Chivas, you played for Seattle Sounders, and now DC United. Walk me a little through your experience at Chivas, growing up in Mexico, and then being able to play for one of the most prideful Mexican teams. It's only Mexican, so it's definitely something to be very proud of. Walk me through that.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a club, the biggest club in Mexico, obviously because it's only Mexicans, um,
Yeah.
but it's something a Mexican soccer player always wishes to play for a club like that.
Mm,
You know, me personally, I was a Morelia fan because I'm from Michoacan. Um,
mm,
but obviously, like a lot of my friends are Chivas fans, and they watch the games, and I watched a lot of games when I was younger. Um, did I imagine ever playing for a club like that? I never really did. So when
mm.
I get the opportunity to be there and to be a part of it and experience it, like it's honestly like once in a lifetime. When
Right.
you talk about rich history, that's obviously a club in Mexico that you
Right.
automatically think of, like the titles they've won, the players they've had, and just everything they've accomplished, as a team and an organization. So um, it's obviously been, a pretty big part of my life, and not only not only to be a part of that history, but because I learned so much
Yeah.
every single day. When you're at a big club like that, you learn from the smallest things you can think of to the biggest things, and everything is a game changer, and you start realizing why people are there and what it
Mm,
takes to be there, and you also realize why a lot of people don't make it, because you
right.
see that it's a lot of focus, it's a lot of commitment. um, so those are just like things you're learning along the way, but it's obviously like it's the journey of how you
Yeah.
got there when you're there, and the journey after that's what you really take away from it.
Awesome. And what it means to Mexican soccer if Chivas does well. I mean, it's national team kind of. Everybody likes this team, even if it's your second team, right? Because it's the Mexican team, right? It's Mexico's team, like kind of like the Cowboys for American football, but not really, right? But yeah, I mean, everybody loves Chivas. I know America fans aren't that big of a fans, but deep down inside, they want to see it succeed, right? So,
Yeah, like I said, it's just a club that, I mean, it's the most popular club. If you're Mexican, you've heard of them, you know who they are, you want to play for
right,
them somehow, some way, friends, family, like they know about it, you know? Uh,
right, right.
so,
Even if you're not Mexican, I mean, you've seen the jersey. Everybody's seen the jersey, right? So it's like they know exactly what that blanco y rojo is. Like it's. There's no doubt in my mind that that's a Chivas jersey. And if you guys ever been to a flea market, you've seen many of them. If you ever been to
it's a,
anywhere in California, at least you know what it is. So you see little kids in California just kicking around a ball that's not a San Jose Earthquakes or a LA Galaxy ball. It's a Chivas or America ball. So it means a lot to these, like yourself included, these players to play for one of the biggest teams I would say in the western side of the world, right? So it's definitely up there.
yeah, absolutely.
All right. So speaking a little bit about your career, I know you were drafted by the Seattle Sounders. Kind of walk me through that. How did you feel on that draft night? It's not an experience a lot of MLS players say they have, but so
Yeah.
go ahead and explain to me how was it that how you got drafted?
Um, Honestly, that process was it was very nerve wracking for me.
Mm,
Obviously, everything leading up to that, especially because obviously I played for a D2 school, Dominguez Hills,
mm,
out in LA. So it's not common, or it's not an every year
yeah.
thing that people from kids from D2 get drafted. So
Right.
for me,
Right.
it was kind of unique. It was special. Obviously, my entire college career, I focused on wanting to take that step and the things I had to do to get there and to even get an opportunity
Right.
to be there. So I remember I got a call. It was maybe like about a week before, not the draft, the MLS Combine. To be able to
Mm,
go. So I went through the whole process of the MLS Combine. I went like last minute. Um, I had a pretty good showing at the Combine. It was like a week long. So we
oh
were
wow.
there for Lauderdale. Um, it went pretty good. I actually spoke to a lot of teams there.
Oh wow.
That showed their interest. It was maybe like 15 teams. Yeah, so I spoke to a lot. And then after that, I think it was the second to last day of the combine. My agent had been talking to Seattle, and my
Mm,
coach from Dominguez, Joe.
yeah.
Uh, he was good friends with Ziggy, so they were in touch and
Mm,
kind of chatting back and forth about me and things like that. So one night I did get a call from Joe. Uh, he didn't necessarily tell me I was going to get drafted because he wanted to keep that as a surprise for me more than anything.
oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was, I mean, he told me about their conversation, and
Yeah.
obviously I was excited, just hearing that there was a chance that I was gonna get drafted, you know.
Right.
But obviously in my head I was like, you know what, like nothing is set in stone. I just gotta go do my thing, play well in these games, and have good performances. And at the end of the day, like they're gonna fall into place how they should.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the second to the last day before the combine was over, my agent told me, he's like, "You're going to Seattle." So for me, that was like, I'm a kid. I'm
Right.
22 years old, coming out of college, nonetheless a D2 school, thinking like, wow, like I really thought at some point, like, there's a possibility that I'm not gonna go to the combine, that I'm not gonna get drafted, and that's something that I've worked 4 years for. Uh,
Right.
so when he told me that, and obviously I was excited. So from Fort Lauderdale, we flew to Baltimore, which
Mm,
is where the draft was. And I called my
no
parents
fun.
and I said, "Hey, I want you guys to be here. Um, I think I'm going to Seattle." And I told them, I was like, "It's a big possibility, but nothing is done until they announce my
Mm,
name." And even after that, like I was like, not just because I get drafted, it doesn't mean like I'm already a professional soccer player. I still have to go to
mm,
season and still earn
right.
my contract. So I went through that whole process. I'm not gonna lie, like I was nervous all the time, and just where I felt more comfortable was obviously on the field playing, like doing my thing. After that, like I
Right.
really had no control over whatever could happen. So we went to the draft, and they told me I was gonna get drafted in the first round, actually,
Oh
15th
wow.
pick. Yeah, because that's Seattle's first pick. But last minute things happen, and they ended up trading their draft pick for, I think, like they did a trade with Chicago or something. It was actually
Oh
one of
wow.
two, Jovan Jones. Yeah. So they traded for him, and I was just kind of like, like what's gonna happen now?
Yeah. Right.
And
What's
my
going through your
agent's
mind then?
like, dude, I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on. And he's like, but I know you're going there. So their next pick was like the second round,
Uh,
the seventh pick of the second round. So sure enough, I was sweating. I was nervous. I didn't know what to think.
right. Right.
My family's there. My coach was there. My agent was there. So I was just like, a lot of things are going through my head. But obviously,
Right.
uh, when the time came and they called my name, obviously I felt a moment of like it was almost a blissful moment because that's something that
Yeah.
had been in my head, like I'm gonna get called up, I'm gonna,
Right.
they're gonna draft me, and sure enough, it happened. I went up, I did my speech, we did, the whole thing, and after that, it was like, okay, now it's really time to start working,
Yeah.
and
It.
but it was a
It's
beautiful process, a beautiful moment to share with my family, and I'm grateful for the way it happened and how it happened.
and that's a great way to kind of like, even if you had a little bit of insight, like just to really be scared at that last moment when they trade away that pick, right? Like, way to build some suspense, you know? Jeez.
Absolutely.
And that might have, I guess that happens to a lot of professionals in every league that has a draft, right? Like, what if they tell you, hey, we're going to draft you at 3, and then all of a sudden they trade that pick, right? And it's just like, ooh, what happens? Like, you're already thinking about, oh man, I'm going to take pictures in front of Pike's Place, like you're already thinking things, and like, where am I going to get my apartment, and all of a sudden they trade that pick, and it's like, oh no, like, what's going on now? And then your second thought is, oh, I'm going to Chicago. No, and then you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
you just
no,
never you
definitely.
just never really know. I mean, you just gotta
Right.
there, enjoy it, and take it for what it is, and you know everything will
No,
fall into
de-
place.
yeah, definitely. I mean, and you got to. I mean, looking back now, they traded for Jovan Jones, someone you got to play with and learn from. So someone that's MLS, a great MLS player, and at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, he was a great acquisition for us. He came in and he was a starter. He was a left back, and we ended up winning a championship that year. So, I
Yeah.
mean, for me as a rookie to have that experience as my rookie as a rookie, you never really
Right.
imagine it or you expect it, but um, enjoy it for what it is, and embrace the process.
Yeah, and walk me through that championship year. I know you did a lot of learning from the sidelines, but how was it? How was it? I mean, I know you had to step in a couple times for Chad Marshall, but I mean that was a great championship run. How did you feel during all of that?
I mean, honestly, I my first year I was trying to just learn and take everything in.
Mhm.
Um, obviously there was that part of me where I asked myself why I'm not playing, and I want to play, I want to play, I want to play. But I mean,
Mm.
it's also the understanding that you see who you have ahead of you and who's been there, and I see
Right.
that now. And I think
Yeah.
I would tell my younger self is just like, just relax, don't worry, enjoy it, and have
Mm.
fun, you know? Because
Yeah.
at the moment you're kind of just there, you stress out sometimes because you're not playing and you want to play.
Right.
Sometimes you're not making the roster for the game and things like that. But I think you look back at it now and it's a beautiful journey. Everything
Yeah.
happens for a reason. And for me, it was like every single day. Like, I mean, half of our team was, national team players.
Right. Right.
Half or a little bit more than half. And you see the center backs we had at the time. We had Zach Scott was
R-
still there, Chad Marshall,
right.
uh, Roman Torres,
Mm.
guys, Chad Marshall, national team, what is he, two-time, three-time defensive MLS,
Right. Hall of Famer. Yeah.
yeah. Then you have Roman Torres, captain of the Panamanian national team,
Right.
great guy, player. And you also had Gustav at the time, Svensson, the Swedish, who can also play center back. He plays for the national
Right.
team. And like, I look at it now, and it's like, yeah, I was a college kid coming out of D2 school. Um, so for
But
me, like after going through that whole process and just being there, I did learn to enjoy it a little bit more. Just to
yeah.
relax and um, to have fun. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
you're doing what you love. You're getting paid to do what you love, and there's nothing better than that. And obviously that year, we had a great run. Um, we also had Nico Valedo coming in
Yeah.
halfway through the season. So he was a big um, asset to our team. He came in and
Mm.
he gave us that spark, that boost that we really needed because we were kind
Yeah.
of falling off a little bit. Um, and just a lot of things happened that year. Things shifted. So halfway through the season, we kind of picked it up, and I mean there was really no stopping us after that.
Yeah. in that back line, I mean, I'm just thinking about it right now. It's probably one of the most memorable MLS back lines of all time. I mean, Roman Torres, Chad Marshall, you had yourself and Jovan Jones and Brad Evans. I mean, that it was a very memorable defensive unit. And even as a San Jose Earthquakes fan, I knew those players, right? So it was something that it was like, oh man, it's kind of hard to find some minutes, and a lot of those guys kind of
Yeah, I
in
mean,
that the
yeah,
whole circle.
yeah, and I mean now it's like it's a nice thing to look back at because you see like
Yeah.
all the experience you had, like this group of guys, great group of guys, like you said, like uh, Brad, Chad, Roman, Joven, like everybody, great soccer players,
Yeah.
but even like better people, on and off the
Right.
field, and good people. So at the end of the day, it's just like wow, like uh, I shared a locker room with them. I shared the field with
Yeah.
them. I shared the day to day with them. What even if it was just for training. But you have those experiences that you look back at now, and you're like, wow, like those are really things that you take with you um, through your entire career.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, off the field too. That always gets overlooked. But if if you're a standout person off the field as well, that's always something that's going to help you on the field. The ways teammates treat you, I mean, it means a lot to someone when you are actually a good person off the field too. So,
Absolutely.
um, yeah. But kind of looking back at your career in Seattle, was there a player that you talked to the most, or that you kind of attach yourself, or who would you say is your best friend throughout your career?
Throughout my career, well, starting in Seattle, I think it's Jordy Dillon, like no brainer.
Yeah.
And he's still there, and we're me and him, we're in constant communication. Um, but he's just one of those guys that I mean, his process was a little different than mine. He came up from S2, you know, and even his
Mm,
first year there, or by I think his second year, he came up with the first team, I think. But we just had that bond where we got along great, and he's
yeah.
one of the guys that I hung out with most off the field, you know, and I
Mm,
also we were both young. Um, we were going through a lot of I feel like at the time where he came up to the first team and we talked about like, our personal lives and families and things like
no.
that, we had very similar goals and values and the things we struggled with. So we were able to share each other's experiences and to just support each other off the field
Yeah.
more than anything.
That's awesome. And kind of talking about now, is there? I know the locker room in DC is actually a lot of Hispanic players and a lot of American players too.
Yeah.
Do you ever find yourself, translating for some of the guys in the locker room, or do they do their best to try to understand each other?
All the time. I
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I'm, Mexican American and I speak
Right.
both languages fluently. So yes, with the Latinos, they're always like, "Hey, what is he saying?" or "What does this mean?" Things like that. And for me, it's something like I do it no problem. I think I've done it.
Yeah.
I even did it back in Seattle. We had a lot of
Uh,
Latinos, and it was the same thing. And even when I was in Mexico, if they wanted
yeah.
to know something in English, hey, what is he saying? What does this mean? So I've always kind of been in the middle, but it's a
Yeah.
nice thing to be able to help with. So for me, I take a lot
Definitely.
of a lot of pride in that.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, Ola is asking Edison to pass the ball some certain type of way, and Edison's like, "Hey man, what is Ola saying right here? Like, can he say this?"
Yeah,
But
I mean,
no,
like things like that, like it's. I've always said it. Football is one language. Everybody speaks
mm,
it. You don't need to. And I'm not talking about speak it verbally, but actions, movement, things like that. Everybody sees it, and I think that's the beautiful thing. Like people communicate well. It's not there's no language barrier.
right,
Obviously outside of the field, um, where you need translating for whatever purposes. Like obviously,
yeah.
something different.
And you speak perfect, fluent Spanish and perfect English, so it's something that maybe, hey, later down the road, you find, when you retire, like, hey man, maybe I'll be just like an MLS translator or something, like. It's something that I'm thinking about, or like a communications guy or something. You got to do something in speaking.
Hey,
Um,
to be a translator or something like that, I don't know. I tell you, I'm pretty good with speeches.
yeah.
I'm not, I don't camera shy or things like that, or to speak in front of public. But I mean, you know, I have other plans for my future. But if that's ever an opportunity, why not?
And looking at like my team, the San Jose Earthquakes, the translator's basically the coach sometimes. I mean, I know he's gotten a red card before, so it's something that maybe, hey, if Tony Alfaro wants to get a step into coaching, like that's your way.
I mean,
um,
you never know where life's gonna take you. Soccer just it brings up a lot of opportunities.
no, definitely. And I know you just said that you have some other plans after you retire. What are some of those plans? Do you plan on getting into coaching, something like a GM, or do you want to stay in soccer? Do you want to move outside of soccer?
Yeah, I've always seen myself somehow related to the sport. I
Mm,
even after soccer. I mean, that's just one of the things as a soccer player. You always want to be involved, whether it's coaching
yeah.
or um I don't know. Like for me, a strength coach, something
Mm,
with fitness, with sports. That's always been my biggest thing, and because to kind of just say, hey, I'm done playing soccer and I'm done with the game, like I think that's impossible
yeah.
for a lot of guys. For a lot of guys, you
Yeah. Right. Right.
can't really imagine your life without football. You really can't.
Yeah. All right. And so strength training is something that you find dear to you yourself, right? Is that something that you spend a lot of time on?
I mean, yeah, I
Yeah.
know so much. I continue to learn a lot, to continue to
Mm,
grow with fitness. Every club that I've been at, um, I I love having that good relationship with whoever the fitness coach may be. Here it's
mm,
Mateos, great guy, um, and he's been one of my favorites because I trust that everything he's doing um,
mm.
is beneficial for me, you know, and it has. I mean, I think he's been one out of the two of fitness coaches that I really trust. I really
Ah,
trust his process and his way of doing things, you know. Um, so that's why fitness for me is very intriguing. And I mean, I learned that back out of high school
yeah.
because I said I want to play college, and I was skinny. I wasn't probably as built,
Mm.
lean, as strong as I am now. Um, but it's been a whole process. Like if you saw me back in high school,
Right.
I was like this skinny guy. Um, but I mean, it took some time of learning and asking questions,
Yeah.
really researching. And it's not just about lifting and activities, but it's also like nutrition and things like that, which is
Right.
like something that's really intriguing for me. Um, and the higher you want to, play to the higher level you want to go, like you got to keep learning, keep growing. Um, so that's why for me, it's fitness and nutrition is really super important.
Definitely. And going back to your comment about this is one of the two that you trust, was there some coaches that you just didn't trust? Like they were like, hey man, have this Herbalife thing, it'll help you out. Or is there something like what made you distrust them?
I think it's not that I didn't trust them. Um,
Mm,
I just think that they had certain way of doing things, and that's normal.
yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, and because I tried doing some of the things they required, and it just wasn't working for me. I physically
Yeah.
didn't feel my best. Um, I just didn't. So I feel like I had to look for outside sources to try
Oh
and
wow.
yeah, get in the best physical shape.
Yeah. Yeah.
And comparing myself to how I first started to how I am now, like there's I see a big difference and big progression
Mm,
in my physique, you know, and obviously being here um, with Mati and everything, we have a nutritionist and just the
right.
knowledge he knows so much about it, and he makes you feel that security of how and why he's doing things, and he
Mm,
makes you feel comfortable in telling you, hey, if this doesn't work, do this, try this, try this, try this, and
yeah.
I mean everything he's told me, I follow by the book, and I'm here now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's definitely working out for you. Um, Tell me a little bit more about this DC United club. I know you guys just got back Paul Areola, so definitely an exciting time to be on that team. What excites you most about this next stretch of games? Is there a game that you're circling on your calendar, or is there something that you really look forward to in this next upcoming month?
I mean, we have 9 games left, so I think for us,
Yeah,
it's like 9 finals. 9 finals.
yeah,
We know
of
we
course.
have to get as many points as possible. We have 6 games at home, 3 away. So
Oh wow, that's good.
if we win our home matches, that's uh, what is that? Eight? No, yeah, 600.
18 points. Yeah.
18 points. That's 18 points at
Hmm.
home. Plus, that's 9 away. Playing away
Maybe
is
snatch
difficult,
three.
but um, get get some points on the road. We're gonna
Yeah.
be fine. Um, and I think we just have to play every game like it's our last, because after November 7th, it just might be. So you never really know.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it comes fast, right? I mean, I think the last time we talked, we were halfway through the season, so it was like, oh man, and then all of a sudden we only got 9 games left, right? So definitely, it hits you fast, you know.
Yeah.
And speaking a little bit more about your personal side of things, I wanted to go ahead and do like a rapid fire type of questions. All right,
Okay.
you ready?
Sure.
All right. What's your favorite color?
Uh, Blue.
Blue. What's your favorite food?
Sopes.
What's your favorite restaurant?
Yeah. It has to be some Mexican restaurant, but I don't in
No,
particular.
it's okay. It's okay. Just insert Mexican restaurant. um, okay. Favorite jersey that you wore?
Favorite jersey that I wore. Mm, Hard question, man.
Yeah, yeah. No worries, no worries. Take your time.
uh,
Rapid fire, kind of rapid fired.
yeah, but I really like the Chivas jersey that we wore
uh,
there.
of course, yeah. All the history comes with it too. So
It's a
yeah,
beautiful.
you got that Alfaro in your parents' house. That Alfaro Chivas jersey just hanging up right there. You know. So
Special. That's a special.
yeah. All right. Favorite jersey you exchanged?
Mm, Favorite jersey I've exchanged. Um, I mean, I swapped jerseys with trophies the San Jose one. I think it was special just because he was one of the guys I met on in my journey in Mexico, and um,
Yeah,
so it's something really special coming from that.
that's awesome. Um, Hardest player to guard or to cover?
Hardest player to guard. Um, it For me in MLS, the hardest player, the best, one of the best forwards I played against was Jovinko. He was at Toronto.
No,
Like that
he's
little
at Toronto again.
guy, yeah, little guy's a
Yeah,
headache.
yeah.
He's just
No,
he's everywhere.
I remember watching him in person, and I was like, "What? Like this dude is like 5'3", just a menace out there, like just doing anything." It's like the Italian Messi, you know? I mean, like Messi's another thing, but this was like, what? He's like running circles out there in San Jose. Yeah, it was something else, definitely.
Yeah,
All right, and best player that or your teammate that you've had the most chemistry with on the field?
on the field.
Yeah,
Uh, Yee. Like in any club, or like
yeah.
now,
Any club, any club.
any club. Um, Oof, hard question. I gotta think back of all the teammates that I've had.
No worries, no worries.
um, I think well, I have two actually.
Yeah, yeah. Go
Um,
ahead, go ahead.
I played with Kevin last year, Kevin Partita.
Oh yeah,
I think he just, his understanding of the game, and I think that just made things a lot easier for me.
that's
Uh,
awesome.
so we kind of we're in sync a lot of the time. In here, one of the players I think is Junior Moreno. Again, same reason,
Mm.
same position, but I mean the connection with both of us. Um, it's just kind of like I know if he's doing something, I should be doing the opposite, or you know, I know where he is, I know where I should be, and I think
Yeah.
on the field is we have a really strong connection.
That's awesome. And shout out to Kevin. I mean, he's the one that set this up for us. So thank you, Kevin. Best of luck in Indy. I know I'm excited, and I saw that you were excited too for him. It's definitely something great to see after that injury, right? So we're all rooting for you, Kevin, if you're listening to this.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, and I guess that's kind of it for the rapid fire questions. Oh, I actually have one more. If you didn't play your position, what would you want to play?
If I didn't play my position, I honestly I would play center mid, like
Mm,
more of a six type of role.
yeah,
Um,
like a pit bull, you know.
yeah, like going crashing and tackles and doing like
Yeah.
that's my thing. I love that, and growing up, that's the position I played. Um, so I miss it.
Mm.
You have a lot of like not necessarily freedom, but it's a lot of running, but it's a really fun position, I think.
Got it, got it. And then I actually asked you this last time, but since everybody listening to this didn't hear our last conversation, who's your favorite artist? Like for music wise?
Oh, Bad Bunny.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody has been following your Instagram, they definitely know.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song to play before a game?
It's a song 25-8.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great song. I mean, um,
Um,
I forgot about it, but then when you told me last time, I went to go listen to it. I was like, oh my god, this is such a good song. I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, it has to be that one. I mean, fell in love with it, and it just really pumps me up before a game.
Yeah, and it's humbling at the same time because it talks about not being too high or too low, right? So it's definitely it's a great song to keep you on the right track.
Absolutely.
And what if people don't know Bad Bunny, and I doubt they don't know him, is there a song that you would recommend that they check out for the first time?
For the first time, huh? I think it would have to be. I mean, I couldn't give you just one, but
Yeah, yeah.
I think um, that album, the Yo hago lo que me da la gana, is a
Mm,
great album that it's a must listen to. Must listen to.
got it, got it. Was there a first song that you heard from him, and then you were like, oh, okay, now I'm a fan?
Yeah, but it was more of a like a dirty song, like trap, which
Yeah,
made
yeah, of
me
course.
start listening to him. Um, but he just has that, he has that versatility as an artist where you can
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
trap, where you can sing reggaeton or you know whatever
right.
he's at.
Well,
And
he also sings ballad. Like he has ballads too, so it's like you never really see that out of like a rap artist, like serious ballads. And the song that did it for me, I know I'm gonna sound like a little bit basic fan, but when I heard Ni Bien Ni Mal, and I was like, what? I heard the versatility on it. Like it's a radio hit, right? But then all of a sudden it's at the same time an album song for him, and he has this artistic flow on it, and all of a sudden he just on the bridge just goes completely like doesn't care if it's a radio song, and that was like, whoa, this is something else, you know?
yeah, yeah, and I
Yeah.
mean I think why he's also a great artist is because the messages he sends in his song,
Mm,
in his music. It's maybe experiences he's lived or he's gone through or he's seen anything, but I think it's
right.
very, very real. And to some extent, like, you can also relate on some of your struggles or whatever it is that you're going through.
Right. And that, I mean, he's very popular in Latin America. I mean, probably number one, top, you know. But yeah, he relates to a lot of people, and that's kind of crazy. I mean, if you can relate to that many people on that type of scale, you're definitely doing something good. And he's very artistically talented. I mean, this when he was just a kid, he was doing a whole bunch of stuff. I know he was doing regular reggaeton, but now he's like doing whatever he wants, and you got to see it like flourish kind of like an artist. And the same with you, Tony. I mean, before you used to do a little by little, and now you're flourishing as a center back for DC United, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So I think I'm going to leave you with this. This is our last question for the show. But before you retire, is there anywhere else you would like to play or kind of do in your career? Anything, any goals you would try to achieve?
Mhm. Um, I've always aspired to, to play in Europe. Um,
Mm,
for me, La Liga is very attractive. It's a very attractive league because
yeah.
the style of play, and obviously not to mention the players that are there. Um, but that's always been one of my goals since I was a kid, since I was a young kid watching Barcelona play. Um, but for me, that'd be a dream come true, And also one of the things is, getting the opportunity to play for the national team.
Mm.
Um, I'm not gonna tell you which one, but I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna say which one. I was gonna say which one, Tony. Like, hold up. You want to do some breaking news right here, like on the show? Like, I'm not ready for it.
yeah, I think if it came down to, it'd be a good. Right now, the problem is I haven't had the opportunity to play for either. So the problem I
Mm.
do wish to have is to decide which one I'd like to play for. You know,
Yeah.
uh, Mexico or the U.S. But I think that's um, obviously something for me. It's been a goal since I was a kid too.
Yeah.
To dream of playing on a national team, to go to a World Cup, to play a World Cup, to you know, and like I said, I think I got to keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm not losing faith that one day that call will come.
Yeah. No, I mean, the way you're playing, it will definitely come. So definitely be ready to have, a decision day on my YouTube channel, like, so, no, I'm kidding. But no, Tony, I'm excited for you the rest of the season. I really appreciate you coming on again. I know you're a very busy guy, and I do appreciate your time and everything you do for me at least, and as well for DC United. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you for your time, and thank you for having
Yeah.
me on your show. It's been fun, and it's a real
Yeah.
pleasure to chat with you.
I appreciate that. And maybe the next time we get you and Jordy on together, right? Let's do that. I
Yeah,
want to see that connection y'all got. So let's definitely bring it on. I mean, or maybe Kevin, someone, right? We got to do something else. But
yeah,
yeah, best of luck in your last 9 finals. I know it's gonna be a tough. I mean, the East is stacked. I mean, the MLS is hard this year. I'm gonna say that every conference is stacked, and it looks like it's gonna be a nail biter even on decision day. So it's gonna be fun.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, thanks again, and
All right,
enjoy the rest of your day.
of course,
Appreciate you.
Tony.